Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is September the 8th, Friday morning, and guess what? It's time for another encouragement series word. Yesterday, the word we did was cynical. Cynical, cynical. And the definition of that was believing that people are motivated purely by self interest, distrust of human sincerity or integrity. Say it one more time. Cynical is the belief that people are motivated purely by self interest, they're distrustful of human sincerity or integrity. Today's word, however, is going to be something that we all have felt at one time, but if you feel too much of it, it's a bad thing. So, hope you get your shoes on, string them up tight, because you get ready to walk on this road to wisdom. Good morning, and let's go. Good morning again. My name is Danny Graham, and I'm the host of my show, and that is The Road to Wisdom. I welcome you all here this Friday. In case you don't know, on Fridays I always stream live. So right now, as this video is being recorded, as you're looking at me right now, I will be live in the chat. The chat will be listed below. You can say good morning if you want to talk and interact with me. The length of this conversation or the length of this particular video, please feel the need to do so. I will definitely respond back to you. Today's word is prideful. Yeah, prideful. 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 And the definition, prideful, man, we all have felt that pride of ourselves, our accomplishments, our children, our wives, and all different aspects of life we felt prideful. But too much prideful can be a bad thing. We're going to go ahead and get into this word a little bit this morning. The definition of prideful is thinking too highly of oneself, being conceited, arrogant, or overconfident. Say it one more time. Prideful. The definition of prideful is thinking too highly of oneself, being conceited, arrogant, or overconfident. And there's another definition. It comes from the Ethos 360 Bible Institute. I looked this up. Not sure what that Ethos 360 Bible Institute is, but it is, I think, a place of study of the Bible and all things are theologian and the study of religion. And this institute says it is self-respect or improper and excessive self-extremes, known as conceit or arrogance. So it's definitely in the same accord, the same agreements with the Webster Dictionary definition of prideful. It goes on further to say pride also can be defined as elevating one's opinions and thoughts above God's authoritative word. That's pretty strong. I want to say it one more time, that last part. According to the Ethos 360 Bible Institute, it says pride also can be defined as elevating one's opinions and thoughts above God's authoritative word. There was someone in the Bible that did that, King Nebuchadnezzar. He became so prideful that he lost his mind, and he even saw visions of himself being a god himself. Now, you're going to be pretty delusional when you start thinking yourself as God. And there have been certain things where people get God complexes. In particular, I've heard that particular phrase, God complex, as it pertains to medical doctors. They save so many lives, they do so incredible things, and they have all this mastery of the human anatomy, and they're able to go into the brain or the heart or any particular organ or any particular part, do these amazing surgical procedures. But that talent is given to them by God. They're not God themselves. But sometimes people can do something that's so great or something that's so mind-blowing or something that is so incredible, and only a few people can do it. And as their skill progresses, they get better, they develop what they call a God complex. And I wanted to look up that word while we're here, God complex. I wish I'd have done that earlier. I'd like to have my facts in front of me, but it just kind of popped in my mind. God complex. Definition of God complex, I want to read, is an unshakable belief characterized by consistently inflating feelings of personal ability, privilege, or infallibility. The person is also highly dogmatic in their views, meaning the person speaks of their personal opinions as though they were unquestionably correct. You ever heard somebody that whatever they say, is the gospel. It comes out of their mouth, so it has to be the truth. Oh, I can't stand that. But someone with a God complex may exhibit no regard for the conventions and demands of society. They think they're above the rules and regulations. How many times have we seen that? And may request special consideration or privileges. Sometimes I've seen that. I know a couple of lawyers that have the God complex, or what has the characteristics of a God complex. Also, I've seen some police officers too. I think it's in every profession, maybe even in pastors. I haven't run across one like that, but there are some people that when they get so high and they get so successful and so they become very prideful. And sometimes that prideful can translate into what said God complex is. And in case you didn't hear that, I want to read it one more time. A God complex is an unshakable belief characterized by consistently inflating feelings of personal ability, privilege, or infallibility. I call that sometimes people are entitled. Entitlement. Entitled people, man, really challenges me. I have to pray because if you think that the world is going to bend to your will and that you're going to get something just because you have a particular name or you live in a particular town or you know a particular person that has power or whatever, yes, it's good. And there's a saying it's better to have a million favors than $1,000,000. And it's not who you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. We've heard those quotes before in the past, but that has to be tempered with common sense too. You just can't think because you know somebody or because your daddy is rich or your daddy's the chief or your daddy's the sheriff or your daddy's the pastor or your daddy's the big time shot attorney or your dad is this or your mom's this or your brother's this, your sister's that. A lot of times they can help you sometimes, and a lot of times in the position I am no mean by anybody that's important, but in the position that I have, I'll be able to help my family out. I'm just going to say, or friends out, or someone else that needs help, maybe a speeding ticket or whatever, or maybe give them a piece of advice, or give them some knowledge about law enforcement that help them out in a particular situation that may have occurred. But people thinking that they're above the law, that the rules don't apply to them, that because you acquired a certain rank in life or acquired a certain position in life, or you made such a certain impact on life, like in politics, like senators, governors, presidents, and all this stuff. Yeah, you're high ranking. You have a lot of responsibility. You have a lot of power per se. You can do a lot of things. You can make phone calls and stuff. But you must not abuse that power. You must not become too prideful in your accomplishments, in your ability in that stuff, that it clouds your judgment. You get what we call the big head. You can remember at the end of the day who put you there. God gave you the ability. He put you there. He opened up doors. He closed doors. He opened up windows. He gave you opportunities to go there, but also to do the right thing, not to do what's on Danny's agenda, or do what's on Barbie's agenda, or do what's on Cindy's agenda, or Sarah's agenda, do what's on Jesus, on God's agenda. So when He give you these positions of power and positions of influence, don't get too prideful, because when you get prideful, there's a saying, pride goes before the fall. Again, about the God complex, we'll get back to that. It is an unshakable belief characterized by consistently inflating feelings of personal ability, privilege, or infallibility. The person is also highly dogmatic in their views, which means the person speaks from their personal opinions as though they were unquestionably correct. Nobody is perfect. The only perfect person that ever walked this planet that I know of is Jesus. Nobody else. Everybody else has, if you read anything in the Bible, you read anything in history, they were flawed in some shape, form, or fashion. I've often said that people that are given a lot of talent has character flaws. Let me give you some examples. Now, we've heard all the accusations and stuff about Michael Jackson. I don't know. King of pop, music is fantastic. I listen to it to this day. I think he's fantastic, one of the best performers ever to set foot on planet Earth. But he had his issues. Another person, R. Kelly. So he is the modern day version of Michael Jackson, for maybe not in popularity, but for in talent, pure talent. This cat could sing. He could invoke such strong feelings one way or the other with party songs, things he said. But of course, we know his issues that he had. that now he's currently serving time in prison. But he, for a long time, was the life of the party, so to speak, with situations as far as his songs and what they meant and how they evoke certain feelings and stuff to people. And another person, Bill Cosby. For years, his comedy. He was known for being clean comedy and this kind of stuff. The Cosby Show, I watch every episode. He's a genius, a comedic genius, but he was flawed. He had some issues. There's a singer by the name of Amy Winehouse. She was critically acclaimed. Her music, it invoked certain feelings and a certain passion about it and stuff, but she had her demons in the closet. So going back to my original point, I think that when God gives us an abundance of talent in certain situations, be it your intelligence, be it your ability to sing and perform, or have a certain skill set that gives you a lot of fame and fortune, that there's going to be a price with it. And I think sometimes that price is going to be a more flawed character. All those people that I call had a flawed character, and two of them are dead, and one of them is currently in jail. I can name the list and go on and on and on. I'm just naming some people that we've seen. How many child actors and actresses that we've seen that were big time blowed up when they were children and stuff, and when they got a certain age or when the truth came out, they were strung out on drugs or had some kind of problem, drinking problem, some kind of addiction. So a lot of times when people get to a certain level, a certain profession, a certain level in that particular profession, that they become prideful. They think that the rules don't apply to them. I give you another one in basketball. Ja Morant. I met this brother one time, and very talented, very talented. He should be the face of the NBA, or one of the big faces of the NBA. Going through his issues, not sure what his issues are true or whatever, but because of modern day social media, he's going through some stuff. He's currently he's going to be suspended from the NBA for a certain amount of time because of his choices and decisions. I don't know. I'm just saying, using it as an example, but I only wish the brother good things. I hope that whatever trouble, whatever issues, whatever decisions he has made in the past, that he puts himself around better people. Don't become so prideful. Don't think that the rules don't apply to you, because the rules apply to you, me, and everybody else that walks this planet. Some people think that they don't apply, but they do apply. And if at the end of the day, if you're a believer, and if those of you that think God don't exist and He does exist, then you're gonna get a big, big surprise during the rapture and during Judgment Day. Because if your name is not written in the book of life, then guess what the consolation is going to be? A fiery pit. So don't let pride totally take you out of the game, totally take you out of your mindset, your common sense. Don't let pride take away your spiritual chance, the chance that God gave us by dying on that cross to have our soul saved and be with Him for all time. So pride, very, very, very dangerous emotion. The person, I want to get back. Someone with a God complex may exhibit no regard for the conventions and demands of society and may request special consideration or privileges. Going back to what I was saying, the rules don't apply to me. I'm Dr. So-and-so. I'm Major Graham. I'm Sheriff so-and-so. I'm Pastor so-and-so. I'm this, I'm that. Rules apply to you, brother. You got to follow the rules. Sometimes you can get a pass on some things, and sometimes your fame or your position or whatever you hold in life may help you, but don't think that every time you get in trouble, if you get to a certain location or trouble steps on you're in that season of trouble, you do something dumb or stupid, or your family member does something dumb or stupid, don't think that every time that you call and say, hey, I'm Mr. This, I'm Mrs. That, I'm this and that, that people are going to instantly jump, oh, this is so-and-so and so. Some people will do that, but a lot of times there will be somebody somewhere, someplace, sometime that don't give a hill of beans whether you Mrs. So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so and that. So don't fool yourself that the rules won't apply to me. Don't get too prideful, because too much pride will definitely backfire. I want to give some examples of some people. Lord, my mouth is dry. In the Bible, I'm sure some of y'all recognize them and can concur with what I'm about to say. Saul was very prideful. Saul was so prideful in the Bible that he just didn't want to do things his way. Thought that his way was better. Thought that he knew more than God, and God had enough of it. So God commanded a demon to torment Saul. In Saul's torment, he tried to take out David because David was anointed by God. He was chosen by God through the prophet Samuel and said, "Hey, look, I want you to be the king of Israel. I'm going to bless you. I'm going to be with you. I'm going to anoint you. I'm going to make sure that you're taken care of." But because Saul disobedience to God and because of Saul's pride, he was tormented. Eventually, he died, him and his son. And his son and David made a covenant with one another to be lifelong friends, in which they did adhere to that. But Saul, so prideful, man, and like I said, pride goes before the fall. Solomon, King Solomon, one of the wisest kings, I think the wisest king in the Bible. Very, very prideful, and all the knowledge he had, he acquired and accrued more wealth, more animals, whatever there was there that was of value for his monetary value or a status. Solomon acquired it, but guess what? He also acquired a lot of wives, and his wise ways and beliefs were not in accordance with God's ways and beliefs. And guess what? His pride got him. He fell. And like I said, he became too prideful. But God was definitely with Solomon, gave him an extreme amount of wisdom. But guess what? Solomon was not faithful. He let his wives influence him. And again, it didn't end out well. Nebuchadnezzar, like I said, Nebuchadnezzar became so prideful that he thought that he was a god himself. And this man, this king, he started eating grass. I don't know why he started. I don't know what that made him, but he started eating grass like animals and stuff. He was so prideful and thought that he was a god, that he could do whatever he wanted to, and just went totally crazy. He lost his mind. Pharaoh, Ramses, stepbrother to, or maybe not even stepbrother, but Ramses' aunt raised Noah as her own son. They were, I guess, raised as cousins, brothers, so to speak, back then. But his pride, he did not want to let the Israelites go. He finally succumbed and let them go, but he did it half-heartedly. He didn't do it. He let his pride say, "No, these are my slaves, and I don't recognize your God." And he had his whole army go follow them, and they thought they were going to catch them because Moses had led them to the Red Sea. But God, of course, you know what he did? He gave Moses the ability and the power to split the Red Sea and to safely walk across. And as Pharaoh's men tried to follow him, guess what happened? God released the winds. The Red Sea came back together and killed all of Pharaoh's army. Pharaoh's army died because of his pride, because he thought that he was the master and ruler of those Israelites, and truly he wasn't. He was just an insignificant fly on the wall, and God swatted him. Korah. Korah was during the time of Moses, and he rebelled against Moses. He had status in the tabernacle that God was building after God was getting the people ready to go in the wilderness to try to go to the promised land. God had given certain tribes different statuses and different positions and different jobs. Well, Korah was a position that he gave to handle the tabernacle, the transportation of the tabernacle, handling business to and from, going in and out of the tabernacle. And Korah thought that he needed to be more important, that his title was just as equally important as Moses and Aaron's. But God was like, no. So Korah was able to assemble 250 men that followed him and believed in him and tried to challenge Moses and Aaron. So in the day when they tried to challenge them, God said, "Okay, come on up." And God created an earthquake, which split the ground open, and Korah and all 250 men were swallowed whole in the ground. Open it, they fell in the hole. I'm pretty sure they were yelling and agonizing in pain, "Lord, please don't do it, don't do it." But guess what? It was too late. God closed the ground and swallowed them whole. The ground swallowed the men, Korah and the 250 men whole. He opened it up, they fell in, and God closed it back. destroying them all. Took care of the problem just like that, lickety split. God is powerful, powerful. He ain't nothing to joke with. And I'm not saying this in a disrespectful manner, but you remember the song Eric B. and Rakim said, "I ain't no joke. God ain't no jokes. Don't play with him. You play with him, guess what? There's gonna be some consequences and repercussions that you don't want to withstand." Pridefulness, though, to go into my next point, it's a trait. Like being tall, being fat, being white, being black, being male, being female. It's a descriptive trait. So if someone describes you, they can use prideful also. Yeah, describe Danny. He is. He can be stern. He can be. Sometimes come off as mean, serious. Doesn't like a joke around a lot. He's prideful, that kind of stuff. It can be a descriptive word. It can describe one's personality, one's one's attitude that they project to another individual. So it also can be described, like I said, prideful is a trait. But it's almost a considered when someone describes you as prideful. It's always has a negative connotation to it. It's very seldom has a positive connotation. So when someone describes you as prideful, that usually is not a good thing. Not always. There's always exceptions to the rule, but when you're being described as being prideful, that can definitely be a negative connotation. So make sure that if someone describes you, you don't project that particular emotional characteristic or trait. A lot of times when someone says that, it's insulting too. When they're saying it, well, you just are prideful, and depending on what they follow it with. If they follow one of those colorful adjectives, you're a prideful, you're a prideful mother. I'm just saying, I'm not gonna say the whole word, but you know what I'm saying. When they follow up with certain words, put that little combination to it, then you know good and well that is an insult. There's nothing kind about that, positive about that, and that's something that if you really care about how your image is and how you're perceived, then you want to change that. You don't want to be listed or have a character trait or a personality trait or project a particular emotion where people describe you as prideful, because when they describe you as prideful, most of the time it's a negative connotation and it's insulting. The scripture about prideful comes from the book of Proverbs, the 11th chapter and 2nd verse, and it reads as follows: "When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom." That is from the book of Proverbs, the 11th chapter, the 2nd verse. When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. A second one that I thought was equally important as that first one also comes from the book of Proverbs, the 16th chapter and the 5th verse. This one is very, very strong. When I saw it, I said, I have to read this. "Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though hand joined in hand, he shall not be punished." Let me read that first part again. I want you to really understand this. I'm going to look it up. I want to make sure that I give you the definition to kind of 1-2 punch it. 1-2 punch it. This is from the book of Proverbs, the 16th chapter, the 5th verse. "Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord." I'm repeating that first sentence. Then it follows up, though join in hand, he shall not be punished. Basically, if you join hand in hand and you're not proud, then you shall not be punished. No, you shall not be unpunished. But first line, "Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord." Abomination, the definition of abomination is a thing that causes disgust or hatred. Now, put that together. Everyone that is proud in heart is abomination to the Lord. And abomination is disgusted or hated. God is disgusted by a prideful person. He hates a prideful person. That is strong. If you're a believer and you're described as being prideful, or if you're trying to become a believer, if you're trying to become a Christian, or if you believe in God but not saved yet, think about that. This is in the Bible. If you believe in the word and the teachings of the Bible, Let that sink in. That is very powerful. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. An abomination means he is disgusted and he hates a prideful person. So having known this, and if you're God fearing, that should definitely the light bulb should come on. That should be your aha moment. Aha. Maybe I need to change. Maybe I need to do something different. Because who would want God to be disgusted and hate a characteristic, a personality characteristic that you distribute? No, I don't want to say the right word. Who wants God to be disgusted at a character trait that you exhibit to the world, that you project to the world, that your attitude projects pridefulness? Someone describes you as being prideful, and you know that God hates a prideful person. He's disgusted by a prideful person. He hates a prideful person. That would really make me think and be like, I definitely got to change my appearance, what I project, my attitude. It would just make me think. It was something that would really make me sit down and food for thought, and I would be like, I have to do something. Because if you believe in God, if you believe in Jesus, you believe that there's a rapture, you believe that there's going to be a judgment day, you believe in the book of life, and your name is not in there, and you know that you're doing something and not asking for forgiveness, and that your main attitude that's projected is that of pridefulness, or one of your attributes, or one of your traits, or one of your characteristics is pridefulness. And having heard me just read that should really make you think. Just saying. Pridefulness is something that we all experience, all have done in life, and sometimes we can let our family accomplishments or our love for our family roll over into or transform into pridefulness, and that our kids don't do any wrong. How many times have you been or you seen parents that think their kids do no wrong, or even you're that parent that think your child does no wrong? If you think that your child does no wrong or can't do no wrong, or you've seen somebody that thinks that, they are delusional. They are fooling themselves, because your children will be all good and nice in front of you. And sometimes it's not even your children, it's your spouse, it's your brother, it's your cousin, it's your mom, it's your dad, whatever. They can project something in the public, but behind closed doors, you really know how they are. Or they can project something when they're in a certain position, but you know that when they come back home, they're drinking, or they smoking, they're doing something. They're projecting something. They're trying to be something that they're not. But their pride and the position that they got and their notoriety and their fame has gone to their head. They become so prideful that they do everything in their power to hide their flaws. But guess what? It's going to come out. Whatever you do in the dark is going to come out to the light. So I'm just saying, pride. I can't say it's enough. Pride comes before the fall. How many times have we heard that saying? And I'm just saying, we all have exhibited, but you need to recognize it. Let's go back to things I said in the past. Self-reflection. You always got to self-reflect. If you want to be the best version of yourself, you always have to self-reflect. You always have to improve yourself. You always have to update your information, update your personality, update what you project. Always update it in a positive way. Don't just stay content with how you currently are. Always strive for improvement. Always strive for change. A lot of people don't like change. There's a situation at work and there's going to be some change, and a lot of people, they can't stand it. They can't take it. They're entitled. They feel entitled. They're prideful. I can't do this. I shouldn't do this. I don't want to do that. Guess what? If you want to grow, if you want to evolve to something better, you're going to have to go through some changes. I had a meeting yesterday with some of my people, and I told them, look, if I was calling you every day, harassing you or asking you to do something constantly, every time I call, you see my name come up on your phone, oh, he's about to call and ask to do something. I don't do that. But guess what? We're in a position, we're in jobs now that we have to do some things sometimes we don't want to do. But our pride or whatever, or our thought process don't allow us to do that. So I'm just telling you, pridefulness can be such a sneaky and deceptive emotion that you don't think you have it, but sometimes you have too much of it. Now, I'm not sitting here saying Everyone has pride. Pride in their job, pride in their family, pride in what they do, pride in their position, pride in their particular position in life. The financially, you can be pride. I'm just saying when it's excessive. Pride is a good thing, but when it's excessive, then that's when we run into a problem. So make sure that the pride that you have is excessive. It's not excessive. We always heard too much of a good thing, or sometimes too much of something is not good for you. Too much candy is not good for you. Too much water is not good for you. Too much this kind of food is not good for you. Too much of that's not good for you. Guess what? Too much pride is not good for you. It's not good for you emotionally, socially, or spiritually. So just make sure that whatever feeling you have or whatever characteristic you have, it's not excessive. So when it goes into the word excessive or into the zone of excessiveness, then that's when you run into a problem. So that was my 2 cents on the word pride. I definitely hope that it resonates with you as you're driving to work or as you're listening at work or if you're at home listening to me, however you're doing it. I definitely appreciate you taking the time to listen to me, and I hope that, again, that it resonates with you and that you can take that for food for thought. I'm going to end by saying a quick quote about pridefulness, and it goes as follows. Pride is concerned with who is right. Humility is concerned with what is right. Let me say it one more time. Pridefulness is concerned with who is right. Humility is concerned with what is right. So do you want to be a prideful person and concerned about who is right or wrong, or you want to be show humility and concerned about what is right and wrong? I want to be the latter of the two. If this is your first time ever seeing me on this channel, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell beside the subscribe button because I don't want you to miss any material that I upload here in the future. Also, give me that thumbs up, a like. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Leave me a comment because I definitely read your comments and respond back to you. And as always, last but not least, make sure you watch all my videos in the future from the beginning to the end because that definitely helps me out. I hope that you have a blessed weekend, a fantastic weekend, a good day. And again, I hope this video that I did this morning resonated with you because I want to do this to make sure that you get positive encouragement, positive information, and that, as always, I'm Mr. Glasses Half Full. And again, have a blessed weekend. Fantastic. And make sure if you don't have your shoes on tight this week, I'm going to give you a pass. But next week, make sure you get the right kind of shoes. Make sure you get hydrated because we're going to continue to walk this road to wisdom. And y'all have a good weekend. Take it easy.